we are live. Welcome everybody to another edition of CV Tech Talk Live. Today is a very special day. Today happens to be the 4th anniversary of CV Tech Talk. It was 4 years ago that we started this whole thing, and I think we've hardly missed a week. I know we took some time off this summer, but we're back with a vengeance. And tonight, for our 4th anniversary, we have two very special guests. Two people who are near and dear to our hearts, both personally and professionally. We have Dave and Shelley Burgess. So welcome, Dave and Shelley, and thanks for hanging out with us here on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, our pleasure to join you.
And actually, Dave and Shelley, this is also a good time to have them on because this is the 4th anniversary of CV Tech Talk, and we mentioned CV Tech Talk in a book that happens to be coming out.
That's right.
That we had the great honor of working with Dave and Shelley with DBC. That was our choice, actually, our choice publishers. We were so excited to be able to do that. So yeah, that's gonna be coming out too. But what are we gonna be?
We love having you guys. We love having you guys as part of the DBC family. We're so excited about your book.
It's gonna be fun. So what's the topic tonight?
So tonight we are navigating the rough seas of 2020.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Very, very fitting topic. We got a little pirate in there, right, too. And 2020, obviously, there's never been any other year like it. And this opening of this school year. And so we're navigating the rough seas of 2020. Hopefully, people will get some ideas, find some inspiration in the chat tonight.
Perfect. And we always talk about, those that have been to CV Tech Talk, we always talk about what we're drinking every week.
That's right.
We wish that this was real right behind us here. This is a great image, but we do like wine. So Adam, you want to show everyone in honor of teaching like a pirate?
That's right. In honor of TLAP, we have a Pinot Noir, a 2018 from King City, California. It is called the Buccaneer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
Very nice. And you guys did not tell me that I could bring wine to this chat. Mine's downstairs waiting for me.
Such a rookie. What do you think goes on in CV Tech Talk? Well, I will be partaking I'll have some Diet Coke as usual.
Perfect.
All beverages are welcome.
So this welcome question says, if you could go back in time, where would you go and why? That's a fitting question for right now, because it's an interesting time right now. So I'm interested to see what we have Jared from Canada on right now. Jared Hamilton, he's on quite often. So we are international for sure on the Twitters here. We've got 14 people watching live on Facebook. Unfortunately, Facebook doesn't let us see who it is, like pop up like it used to, but we do have Judy Blakeney and Sean Wisely. So
of course Wisely's on tonight.
Yes.
Hey, so Sean Wisely, we taught together at West Hills High School for a long time. Sean was a Spanish teacher at West Hills while I was a U.S. history teacher there, so I know Sean well. And Shelley knows Sean well.
Yeah, thank you, Sean, for the suggestion of running downstairs to grab the wine, but I'll wait.
Little do you all know is that with this current setup, it would be next to impossible for Shelley to get past me, to get downstairs. So I have her trapped right where she is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, right. Yeah, Sean's always a good time. Man. We love hanging out with Sean. And
he's putting up the wolf pack call there. That's right.
Yeah.
We always say there ain't no party like a wolf pack party.
Yeah. Sean's always balancing things on his nose. I know. Yeah, Sean's always a good
Hey,
time.
Judy and Jan popping in. Good to see you.
Right. Hey, I'm proud of Jan. She was like, I'm gonna try. Jan's my mom, and she watches us here quite often. Big fan. And so she said she was gonna watch on TV, like stream to the TV, which is super cool. And then she says, I'm gonna try to make a comment, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. So thank you for taking a risk and doing that. That was awesome. So.
Hey, Marissa, good to see you. And do I see Rob Martinez in here?
You do. Hi, Rob.
Just got in from a 3-mile run.
Oh, wow.
Well, how resilient of him to then show up into CV Tech Talk after that run.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I put if I was to go back in time, I would go back to January of this year. And I would tell Kobe Bryant, don't get on the helicopter. And
Oof.
perhaps that might break the jinx of 2020, and
Mm.
we'd be doing a lot better. I don't know if that follows all the time travel rules of Marvel, or if it's Back to the Future. Who knows which movie got it right, but it's worth a shot.
For sure.
Yeah, it has kind of been downhill since then.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
right.
Well, I mean, it did start in January with the Australia fires.
So fars and Kobe, and then one thing after another.
Yeah. Yeah. So Katie McNamara, I don't know if she's our official teacher librarian. She was our first. Now we have Sarah Smith too.
She's the original.
She's the original. And she says she would go to the medieval times, great outdoors, animals, but she wants indoor plumbing.
You know, maybe what I would do is, if you looked at the intro picture I put up of Shelley and me, that was taken in London.
It was.
And so actually Shelley was just mentioning the other day, I mean, you know what, we need to get back to post-pandemic. We got to get back to London.
Yes.
So we had a great trip to London. I did some PD over there in the UK, and like a big Teach Like a Pirate program, and then spent some time in London. So that was a good time. We'll just go back a couple of years
Yeah.
to London.
One of my favorite cities of all time. Loved it there.
But that's our dream vacation that we have. We will go there someday. So
we're gonna
it's on the bucket list.
Yeah, flying to London, steal the sights there, take the tram up to Manchester, and see a game at Old Trafford, and have a great
Yeah.
time.
Lovely. It's lovely.
Hey, we got this question popping off now. Question 1 over here. But Marcus Buckingham wrote, clarity is the antidote to anxiety. How are you opening up, maintaining, and using clear and consistent channels of communication with staff, students, parents during this challenge time? So let's hear it. What are your communication strategies right now for opening the school year 2020?
Awesome, and thanks for reading that, because a lot of people will watch on Facebook Live, and so they'll comment there, so they don't see the questions. So I'll go ahead and start.
Go ahead, babe.
While we're waiting for people to answer. It just dropped. I've really been talking to teachers a lot about having a one-stop shop for kids to find all, and parents to find all the information. Every day you go to the same place. You know, we can have some excitement in what we're teaching, what they're learning, and have some, you know, but I think that to keep that anxiety level down right now, we just want kids to feel like, I know where to find things. I know how to get onto the Zoom call. I know where all the information is going to be posted. So that seems to be helping, whether it's all in Google Classroom or it's all on like a PDF that has links or whatever it needs to be. So that's what I've been finding with the teachers I work with at the moment. So I know Katie answered. She says being transparent when we're talking about communication, being transparent with struggles and weaknesses empowers and validates others. That's really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, as far as
I think one of the things too, you know, when you think about that quote and clarity being the antidote to anxiety, you know, part of that quote goes on to say, you know, if you do anything as a leader, like be clear. Like that's one of the things. And this is such a hard time right now because we don't have all the answers, right? You know, things are changing. It seems like almost every minute, you know, every day, every minute, things shift and change, and we have to be able to turn on a dime. But I think one of the things that's so important is the even being able to be clear with people. These are the things I don't know, right? So being clear about, here are the things that we know. Here's how we're going to handle these things that we know, and here are the things that we wish we knew but we don't. And as soon as we do, you know, as soon as I know, you're going to know. And so that people know that, you know, if you're in a leadership role, you know, or teachers or leaders in their classrooms, just being clear with parents, I think that this is, we're going to get you all the information you need as soon as we have it, and setting up forums and ways to communicate that. Even if, like I said, even if the answer is we don't know yet, but we're going to let you know when we do. I think silence and communicating nothing right now is a mistake.
I see over on Facebook, Sarah Smith has said lots of emails in office hours. So setting up office hours where people know that they can come and connect with you. That's great for students. You know, it's kind of a more of a college type setting where a professor might have office hours where students who are struggling can come in or have questions can come in. And now we can set up virtual office hours for kids to come in. And of course, as ed tech coaches or anything, you can also have office hours available. I don't know if you two, you know, what you two are doing with that.
Yeah, I do office hours every morning for, depending on the schedule, but usually 2 to 3 hours in the morning. I have a set Google Meet link that scheduled an email every morning that, all right, if you need to talk to your friendly ed tech coach or you're just bored, click on this link, and it goes out every day. I'll get at least a dozen, at minimum, dozen people jumping on, if when they need support. So it's we've also kind of taken a role with that with our teachers now and built it into a new schedule. We pivoted. This week's the first week of another new schedule we rolled out, where Friday is kind of that flex day where we have PLC. Every teacher is going to have office hours built in automatically, and I'm very impressed with the way my district's been handling, all these different bumps in the road and just rolling with the punches. And each time that we roll the punch, we're coming up with a new iteration that's just better for everybody. So it hasn't been easy, but we're doing better. The communication, I think, has been better than ever before. It's really, people are really rising to the occasion, and I'm really
well. And we need each other. People need each other. I think more than ever before right now too is people are leaning on each other. Their colleague across the hall reaching out to their coaches. Principals are counting on teachers. Teachers are counting on principals. The need for people really to come together and be able to rely on each other and support each other right now is, like I said, I think bigger than it's been in a long time.
I've heard a lot of ed tech coaches saying that they've never been more popular.
Yeah.
It was hard to get meetings with teachers before.
Right.
And now it's like there's no more slots because everybody wants a piece of the ed tech coach right now. And I'm seeing increased collaboration, and including from people that were resistant to collaborating with their peers. And now it's like, hey, I can't reinvent the wheel. I can't come up with all this stuff. We need to pull our resources together and really share and connect and collaborate. And so that increased spirit of collaboration, that's something that I think we have a good chance to have extend beyond the pandemic, hopefully. And so now that they see the value in that, and they see the value in working with their ed tech coach, and they see how these connections and this collaboration and this professional learning network can assist them, hopefully that's something that's going to continue on beyond the pandemic.
I'm glad you said professional learning networks. I have teachers now. It used to be they would wait for me to go out and bring stuff back. Mm-hmm. Now they're doing it on their own. And I have a colleague that teaches sixth grade, and I saw something she shared. I go, "Did you get that from the GEG NorCal?" She's like, "Oh yeah." So I said, "If you like that one, I recommend a few." She's like, "I joined them all." She joined them all, GEGs, and going there and getting stuff.
Which is Google Educator Group for those that aren't aware. Yeah,
so it was really cool to see her go out and do that, and other teachers as well.
I see Mr. E. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. It's Mr. Ish over on Twitter saying clarity comes from what feels like over communicating. And so maybe if you don't feel like you're over communicating, you're probably not communicating enough right now. And also mention the fact that they said that hard phrase when a student asked something and their answer was, I'm not sure, I don't know. And I think that's a perfectly legitimate thing to say anytime, especially now. And it's better than saying nothing or trying to make up an answer, right? Sometimes the appropriate answer right now is, hey, we don't know what this is going to look like next week.
That goes along with this second question here. So question 2 says providing ongoing time. We didn't read it yet, did we?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, but we led right into it. Providing ongoing, timely, and relevant coaching and support for educators has never been more essential. How does this look in the circumstances we currently find ourselves? What's working now, and what support or coaching are you missing? And so something I thought was interesting was certainly ed tech coaches are more in demand than ever, but something that I found interesting in those office hours was I've had some times where teachers come in and they just want to kind of talk. Yeah. Hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. Is this normal? Are other teachers struggling with this too? Catherine, I know you talk with a lot of teachers. And so I really think that that's a great opportunity as well, that a coach is not just giving you a whole bunch of tools, right? I know, Shelley, you talk a lot about leadership. So I'd love to hear how that fits in with your leadership philosophy as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think, and in Lead Like a Pirate, we talk a lot about coaching and the principal's role in coaching. We have coaching roles in the system, and one of the things that I think is so important is, I think there's a couple of things. I think it's one, what you're talking about is giving people space right now to be able to talk, to be able to communicate, to be real with you. This is a time where you really need people. We're sort of past the time of, and not that we ever should be here, but so often when we think about evaluations or principals coming in, or, you know, coaches, people want to put on their very best, you know, performance because they feel like they're going to be evaluated, or they feel like it's going to be, you know, something that ends up on paper somewhere, you know, that they're satisfactory, unsatisfactory. Meaning, this is the time where if most of the feedback that you have given to teachers in the past is that evaluative, sort of judgmental type of feedback, now we need teachers to be real with us and let us know the real struggles. You know, one of the things I say in Lead Like a Pirate all the time is I want to, as a leader, be invited into the real conversations about teaching and learning. I don't want to be in the conversations that are just for show. So making sure that your team knows that, you know, I'm in this with you. We're rolling up our sleeves and we're doing this together. If there's a challenge and I don't know about it, I don't know how to help fix it. And so I think that that's a key component of support that principals can be giving to teachers right now is really, even like you're talking about, that sort of open door, open office hours, ways to really tap into the real struggles that people are having. And I think too, also tapping into the successes and making sure that you're helping share those. We get pretty hyper focused right now on what's not working. So taking a moment to really celebrate the successes and the risk taking and moving forward that people are doing, I think is really important right now too.
We're gonna get a chance to pour those answers in on number 4 too. Different ways you're celebrating all that. One of our books by a former colleague of Shelley's, The Coach Adventure, Amy Illingworth wrote, and this is what I put into Twitter. It says, instructional coaching should be ongoing, flexible, driven by the teacher's individual needs, and built and fortified by trust. And so now, you know, we're seeing that being more important than ever, that we're building those relationships of trust with our staff.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad, Shelley, you talked about how, you know, when leaders message it like, hey, we're in this with you, that's been a common theme I've been hearing a lot from my own administrators and other administrators. And the buzzword that gets thrown out a lot here is we're going to offer grace. We're all going to offer everybody grace. There is no wise old man on the subject right now. We're all, the other cliche is we're all building the airplane while we're in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? We're going to make mistakes, and we're just going to roll up our sleeves. If we make a mistake, we're gonna start over, and we're gonna figure it out together. And just hearing that from your upper administration it's comforting, knowing that we don't have that, you know, that pressure of having to like the way it used to be. It's definitely, I think we're gonna come out of this on the other side, you know, I think a lot better. So yeah, I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, well, and I think too, you add that with, and we're still going to teach kids, right? I mean, that's what we're here. So how we're going to teach kids the very best we can, and I'm going to support you in the best way that I can. We're in it together, but at the end of the day, it also is about, you know, making sure that our kids are learning and getting the things that they need. And it's a crazy time to be an educator right now. Dave was just talking about Amy, who's the author of The Coach Adventure. And I actually just saw her the other day. We went for a walk, and she's an assistant superintendent. And she actually shared with me that this is the busiest she has ever been in her life in education. That this is the busiest, most overwhelmed, you know, most amount of things on her plate than she's ever experienced in over 20 years of being in education. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way.
I just did a keynote recently, and I was doing a question and answer after the keynote, virtual, of course. And a teacher, you know, unmuted and said, hey, I'm really nervous because I'm a first-year teacher and I don't know how this is all going to work. And I said, oh, hold on a second. All right, watch your Zoom screen right now. All right, how many teachers on the screen right now feel like they are a first-year teacher? And every single hand on the whole screen went up. So like, everybody's a first-year teacher, right? Everyone's a first-year principal, superintendent. No one's ever done this before. I just wrote that blog post last week, said, no one's taken a class in pandemic pedagogy, even though we get pitched that book 40 times a week. And so we're all working this out, and it's going to be okay.
It's interesting. I had a teacher ask me the other day, what does the research say about the asynchronous? And I said, yeah, it's all about action research right now. You can't, even if you went to like online schools from before this all happened, it's different demographics, it's different circumstances. There wasn't a global pandemic. Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like this whole research thing anyway, if you keep relying on the past, how are you going to actually use action research of what's going on in your classroom with your kids? But I just thought it was an interesting question that anyone that's going out there and saying, I think I've got this figured out, I'm a little bit leery of, because we're all learning right now. So yeah, I would agree. It's we're all first year, whatever role we're at. Definitely.
All right, so question 3 just dropped, and it says, student engagement is tougher than ever to maintain, but still essential. What are some new skill sets teachers need to embrace to be effective at student engagement in a remote distance learning setting? What's working for you? It's a great question. I think for me, it's this. Teachers need to master the art of multiple screens. I know who was it? John Garippo put a post on Facebook not too long ago about it's impossible for a teacher to teach on one 13-inch screen right now. Everyone it's a necessity to have multiple screens. I rock 4 screens at a time, and the things that I do with my kids, I do my best to keep them engaged and trying to engage in the 4 C's as much as I can. In this distance learning, if I didn't have multiple screens, I couldn't do it. I really would not be able to do it. I'd be pulling my hair out. And definitely, I think that's one simple skill people need to really be aware of. And we've been working hard to get multiple screens to as many teachers as possible.
Sarah Smith said one word, Flipgrid.
Absolutely. So one of the things I've been working with teachers on is, especially at the end of a keynote, so I'll do maybe an hour keynote for them virtually, and then, they'll feel like maybe it was only 5 minutes went past. And people will say, well, you can't present virtually for any more than 2-3 minutes. Like, well, I just presented for an hour for you. And you said it felt like 5 minutes. Well, what were the skills I was using? And so I've worked really hard to get better and better at trying to transmit charisma, energy across a 2-dimensional screen. I use a 2-dimensional screen in a 3-dimensional way. So while I'm presenting, I'm coming into the screen, I'm moving out. I'm talking about the hooks can draw you in almost magnetically. I can go back and get big. I can come in, and I'm using intonation, inflection. Sometimes I'm delivering at a very fast speed in order to bring a little energy into the conversation. Sometimes I'm slowing down. I can whisper like this. I can do all these things. And so what happens is I know lots of teachers who are very energetic, passionate, enthusiastic in front of a live audience of kids, of students. But then when they get in front of a 2-dimensional screen, it's not just the screen that becomes flat. They become flat too in their personality and their affects, right? And so we have to learn how to generate that enthusiasm and charisma. And that's what part of the new skill set of being a teacher in 2020.
Dave's got that down, by the way. Yeah.
What's in there?
Yeah. You know what's interesting? My son is a senior in high school this year, and I said, hey, I'm trying to figure out, from a student perspective, what should I be telling teachers? What makes you want to go to a distance learning class? And I'm expecting him to say, oh, we do a quizzes, we do a fun game. He said, it's about the teacher. And I know that in my head, I know that's the research, but to hear it from a senior in high school to say, well, Mom, it's about the teacher. And I said, well, what do you mean it's about the teacher? Well, if they're interesting and if they care that I learn. And I was like, that's it right there. If I'm interested in my subject enough and care enough about you that it comes through like that, even like you say, Dave, even from a distance, we can do that. I thought that was really cool.
Absolutely.
Sean, who's been at my Teach Like a Pirate presentation before, where I dragged this long rope out through the center of the audience and have people stand up and hold the rope and all that. So yeah, buddy, now do the long rope. and he's right. I still haven't figured that one out yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. It was actually a compliment I got from a kid the other day that they were saying, "Wait, class is over already?" Like it went quickly. Because what I've been trying to do lately is I'm trying to take cues from a lot of my favorite YouTube channels. I think about why am I drawn in to watch those their videos over and over. So I like to watch a lot of
great point.
My favorite channel, one of them is watchmojo.com, and they do a lot of top 10 videos. So I'm trying to stylize my lessons to be like these top 10 videos that they're doing. So I'll use my Bitmojis and stuff and make some slides, and I'll try to just stylize it that way, and kids kind of forget it. It's actually a lesson.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, I mean, there really are, I mean, the generation of kids that are in our classrooms right now are actually, and again, it's not about, I mean, teaching is not about entertainment necessarily. We're talking about engagement, but think about, we have a generation of kids who are entertained and engaged through screens and the things that happen on the opposite end of the screen. So I think I love what you're saying, Adam, about studying what some of the YouTubers are doing that are keeping people, you know, engaged. The TikTok videos that they're all watching all the time. I mean, they are engaged. They are able to be highly engaged by things that are happening in that two-dimensional screen environment.
I think it's the same thing with connections, collaboration, connections, relationship building. Really now, it looks more like how they are typically connecting with a lot of their friends. And you know, that's how our kids connect with each other, is via their phones. And you know, and so school is looking more like maybe what they're normally doing before.
It's true.
That's right.
Hey, I see question 4 just dropped.
Right.
Adam, you want to read it?
Yeah, sure. So question 4 is, there has been much focus on what is wrong and what needs to be fixed about how we teach during the pandemic. What is going well for you? How do you or can you celebrate the wins and recognize the Herculean efforts of your students and staff?
You know, what's interesting is I just had I've done some sessions with a school lately, and with each grade level, I meet with each grade level. And my first question is, I say, I know things are really tough right now and they're challenging. So, but I just want you to take some time and think of, we're going to start positive, think of a celebration. And it can even be like, you had 2 more kids show up than yesterday. Like, that's a celebration. You can say, I'm not as tired today. I actually got more sleep. I don't care what that celebration is. And so the principal was sitting in on the first one, and he said, oh, that's great. I think I can steal that. I said, yeah, please do. But I think sometimes we forget about how valuable that is.
Yeah.
So
well, and I think we do forget, and especially we forget when we're in a situation where we're overwhelmed, feeling stressed, feeling like we're not getting everything right, not getting everything done, when the anxiety creeps in, you know, about what we're doing, though, especially in those times, we forget to stop. And I love the way that you phrase that, Catherine, with just, even did I get more sleep yesterday? I mean, those are all wins. I mean, I was less nervous today. I was better prepared today. Those are all wins, and should be reflected on and celebrated. And, you know, if there are principals and district leaders who are watching, you know, figuring something out where you are able to, and I know many people are, but noticing those things that are happening and appreciating them and acknowledging them with your teachers, with your staff, I think is a really important thing to do. And I know principals and district leaders are just as overwhelmed and just as stressed, but taking the time to be able to appreciate right now, I think is really, really important.
I love what Ray Hewitt said in our Sunday 7. So every Sunday we put out 7 things from either from us or one of our authors. And in past week's Sunday 7, Ray Hewitt, who is co-author of Teach Better and co-author of Teachers Deserve It with Adam Welcome, she said that what we want people to give is today's best. Not, people always say like, you need to give your best today. Well, you know what? We don't need your overall best. Maybe it's just today's best. And it might not be the same as what you were able to give yesterday, but what can you give today? That's what we want, today's best. And so I love the way that she said that.
I love that.
I see an interesting comment here on Facebook from Greeley about with the teacher being the new entertainer in the classroom. And this is, of course, in text, so I hope that I'm interpreting this correctly. So then the teacher spending less time with their real family. And so how do we manage that? And I think what's interesting about that comment is, I know that teachers are spending, every teacher I talk to is prepping so much more than ever before. And I look back to when I was a first-year teacher, and I spent more time prepping than any year in the future as well. And so I think part of that is because teachers, they love their kids and they care and they want to do a good job. But I think that we also have to give ourselves that grace and celebrate the fact that sometimes, I know for myself, Adam knows this, sometimes he has to tell me, like, you need to stop working. You need to just relax. And so I think that's a good point that we need to remember about having that. We talk about work-life fusion, and it's not easy. And so I really appreciate that Greeley did bring that up, because we do want to really try, we don't want to get burnt out, right?
Well, I think a part of what's going on there too is, and this is something that we've had to learn because we run DBC Inc. from our home. And so we work from home before COVID, right? We were running the business right here at the house. And so now a lot of teachers are teaching from home, and there's that lack of geographical separation between work and home life. And so it was before, you put everything away in your bag and you walk out, you get in your car and you leave work, and there's that geographic separation and that time separation. But now that doesn't exist anymore. And so that was something that we've had to get better at. Shelley's better at it than me. I'm still trying to work on it, is learning how to separate and say, okay, now this isn't work time anymore. It's time for family. It's time to unwind. It's time to enjoy some things that I like to enjoy. And yeah, so I'm trying to get better at it, because she definitely beats me in that category.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to parents, because this is not an easy time for parents. As like yesterday, when I did work from home, and I have my 7-year-old autistic daughter, and trying to get her on Zoom while I'm still on call on my laptop, and keep doing that's no easy task. And I am not the only one
Absolutely
doing that. Parents are working from home as well and trying to help their kids. And I really feel for the parents who aren't teachers.
You know how to get on Zoom. Like we teach people this, so it's easy, and it's still difficult for us.
It's difficult for me. I know for a teacher, for a parent who's not a teacher, who's not in ed tech, trying to help their child is difficult. But I messaged a parent today, because part of our protocol is, whenever a kid's absent, we have to make as quick as contact with the parent as possible. So I messaged a parent, and the parent texted me back pretty quickly, very apologetic, because it's it's the third or fourth time in the last few weeks I've had to message them that they haven't been on Zoom, and they're very apologetic and saying, oh, it's so hard. And I responded saying, you know what, this is hard for everybody. All your teachers are just as frustrated as you. All teachers, students, and parents, we're all having a hard time. Don't worry. Just you do what you got to do. You let me know how I can support you. And sent me back a huge another tech response, just thanking me so much, like, oh, you understand. This is so amazing. I'm like, and just we need to remember, the plight parents are going through right now. As tough as it is for us, it's just as hard as for them.
Absolutely.
See, over on Facebook, Sarah Smith said that the geographic distance for her is a doorway.
There we go. That's true.
Well, when I shut my laptop down and move over to this part of the room, now I'm home. And I come over here to the table, I'm at work.
Right. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Well, on Twitter, that's the end of the chat. So for everyone who joined in on Twitter, I want to thank everybody for chiming in and indulging us this Wednesday night. Hopefully you picked up a thing or two from us and from our esteemed guests, Dave and Shelley. So again, thanks everyone on Twitter and here on Facebook, man. It's talk about, that half hour went quicker than normal.
I think so.
We're flying.
Great conversation and
great to chat with you guys.
Hey, I have a question for you two.
Okay.
Sure.
So there's a rumor out there that there's a DBC Inc. book on the way called The Complete Ed Tech Coach. Don't know if it's true. Heard it might be coming in October, and you might know something about it. What can you tell us about this book? What can people expect?
I know Adam Waters is one of the co-authors.
That's right. A little birdie named Tara Martin told me that it's getting close to coming out. So I believe if Tara Martin's saying it, it's got to be true.
That's right.
So yes, it is coming out. And kind of what we discussed in the book is, this is kind of the book that we wish we had when we began our journey as tech coaches. There's no official, this is not like some research and thesis here. It's not going to read like a textbook. This is all, as Jimmy Costas would say, I don't have the answers. I have stories. And then that's what it is. It's the stories of us, our wins, our successes, and everything in between. Actually wins and failures.
Our challenges,
sure. All that stuff. As an ed tech coach, and it's we're never going to stop evolving.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the great part is, even though, a book comes out, and you don't stop learning. And so what we really want to do is continue to be engaged, like on CV Tech Talk and, you know, various channels, so that we could continue to blog, continue to have people reach out and ask more questions. We could share more what we're learning. So it's really just a stepping off point, I guess, to get people excited about how they can build relationships with their those they serve, like we talked about today, how they can focus on the learning first and the tech secondary, always as a way to fuel that. So we're excited. We've got some great people that we have worked with that are mentioned in the book, because again, like Adam said, there's a lot of stories. So
yeah, it's pretty much something I always say in the beginning of all my sessions is that, you know, whatever conference I'm presenting at, I always have a slide that has the hashtags, and I want you to share everything that you're learning here. Share it so other people can learn, because that's how we get better. And for me, I tell them I'm here today because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. Those who came before me, those like you two who I learned from years ago and I continue to learn from. Take your ideas, remix them, make them my own, and hopefully someone can do the same. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, and hopefully kind of pass on that philosophy.
absolutely, yeah.
Well, it's a fantastic book, and we are really looking forward to helping you get that message out to the world. So we're really looking forward to it. It's great. You guys have done a great job.
Stay tuned, everybody. Coming soon.
Thanks, everyone. All right.
All right. Well, thanks, David, Shelley, for hanging out with us tonight.
So good to see you guys. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Ew.
Yep. Let's see.